Hi, my name is Jared Broad, and today we have with us James Di Virgilio, the founder of CDD Wealth Management. It's an honor to have you on, James. Thank you for taking a few minutes to chat with us. So tell us about your firm. What do you do?
Oh, thanks for having me on, Jared. We started the firm in 2009, and we are an independent fiduciary wealth management firm. So we do two main things: financial planning and investment management. And there's two other co-founders, hence the CDD.
Oh, nice. Cool. And what is your thesis? What's your unique perspective on the markets?
Well, we started off as multiple asset investors, so asset allocators, much like many endowments would use, or many other registered investment advisory firms would use. But in 2017, we switched over and became momentum investors, and that is a primary difference between us and many other fiduciary firms. Is we totally use momentum in our investment strategy, and we do that because we think the history, evidence, and data suggests that it is the best way to invest over the long run.
Okay, interesting. Are you doing okay with the markets at the moment? There's been a bit of a twist.
Well, it depends on how you define doing okay. Of course, with 2022, this is definitely an anomaly year for any investment strategy. But if you look at momentum strategies, they have protected wealth better than your traditional buy and hold strategies on the whole. So it's been a bad year for just about everyone. But momentum portfolios have spent a pretty good portion of the year in cash, which sadly has been one of the best asset classes, which is not a great year when inflation is very high and cash is one of your best asset classes.
Understood. And then just curious, what are your KPIs? What AUM can you share?
Sure, we have about $125 million under management for roughly 150 to 200 families across the country.
Oh, awesome. And so, how did you go about executing this momentum strategy before QuantConnect?
Yeah, before Quant Connect. So in 2017, we really began researching momentum quite heavily, and we decided that we were going to implement it. We had to decide how to actually make the trades themselves. We did this all by hand originally, which is just fine. Plenty of momentum investors will get the signals on their own and then implement them with their trading platform. But we wanted to have a more robust solution, especially since we really had some ideas we thought that we could improve upon academic momentum as we knew it. And that's really where sort of the newer technologies, of course, like at the time we used something called Quantopian and then Quant Connect come into play, allowing you to back test your ideas, allowing you to write code and implement really some of your R&D, if you will, in real time. So we had Quantopian, and that was a really nice experience for about 6 months. And then for those that are familiar, Quantopian in the middle of the night basically shut down their operations and left us in a really difficult spot where we had to go back immediately and do several things, of course, by hand. But we also lost out on some major R&D improvements we had made. We had not saved our most recent code onto our own server, and our most recent code had a really big update that we had, and that set us back about 6 to 8 weeks, which can be forever in the investment world when you lose something like that. So it was a significant event in our firm's timeline.
And then, how did you go about migrating? What was the process to convert and transform into QuantConnect?
Well, we use Python to write our code, and my co-founders and I don't write the code. We have a gentleman named Aaron who does this out west for us, and he immediately said, "You have two, I think, options available to you. One is we can put this on our own server, which we had that same option from the beginning, or two, you can use QuantConnect." And then we got in touch with you. I actually emailed QuantConnect, and you responded back directly, which was pretty fantastic. And then we began dialoguing, and we started up really merging and migrating and figuring out that there were a lot of differences between Quantopian and QuantConnect. Most of them were beneficial towards QuantConnect, and a lot of it was even helping unwind some things we had found on Quantopian to be true that were not true,
Wow.
based upon perhaps some erroneous data sets. So it wound up being a blessing out of suffering, if you will. But without QuantConnect, we would have had to go the route of having our own servers, maintaining our own database, and that is less desirable for many reasons, especially when it comes to really just doing the R&D and the easy tools that something like QuantConnect provides.
Right. And then the process of not only setting up and maintaining all of that can be extremely expensive. So it sounds like you've really been able to leverage some of the infrastructure that were provided to sort of dramatically improve the cost structure for what you're doing too. How have you found the platform? How have you found the infrastructure that's provided? Is it going okay?
Oh, it's been fantastic. And probably the best thing about it is when you start anything new, you want it to satisfy your need, what you're looking for, but then you also hope that it gets better. And both those things have been true. Quant Connect became a better solution than Quantopian, but it's 2 to 3 times better for us now than it was several years ago because the platform has just become better. It's very, very stable. We're able to run multiple of our trading algorithms on them, and they send us an email every single day letting us know what the move is or is not. And you can do a plethora of things, but for us, what was really instrumental was the robust back testing capabilities. And that's been a game changer for us to be able to write new code, test new ideas, do in sample and out of sample testing, and really be confident that if we think we've found something that could be an improvement, that we can do enough tests and enough runs, not data mining, to be able to get an idea of what this looks like. And that has been really fantastic. It's a great sandbox to be able to innovate and create and design and test the ideas that you have.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear. It's really awesome to see a real practitioner in the space and a fund running with significant assets on top of the QuantConnect ecosystem. That, do you think that's really enabled your business in different ways? You've been able to think differently and creatively and do new initiatives?
Yeah, there can be no doubt. I mean, people talk about fintech all the time, and oftentimes what's lost in it is that it frees up innovators or thinkers to test new ideas much faster than they would. I started in the investment industry in the mid 2000s, which is not that long ago, but it was long enough ago that when I was trading at the big firm I was with, it was still a paper process. You still took a piece of paper into a certain room and then they processed the trade for you. And then during my time there, it became electronic, but even then it was nothing like it is now. And of course, if you're going to spend several hours of your day just executing a trade or having to do, something else, you can't think about how to improve your process. And now we're at a place where with something like Quant Connect, you can spend so much of your time trying to improve what is possible in the investment world. And that's a very difficult task, right? We have 100 years of modern really history in the markets, and people have tried all sorts of ideas, and you can kind of whittle them down to 5 main ones, which tells you it's not easy to find new ones.
Right.
But one of the major reasons why momentum has become adopted as a strategy that goes beyond being an anomaly is due to fintech and the ability to test out ideas that have been around since the 1930s, but now you can prove them, being able to run these data sets, these sample sizes, these trading capabilities that you just couldn't do before. It was way too onerous to really be able to prove out these concepts. So you've already seen that on a broad scale. And of course, we see it in our firm as well. It frees us up to do anything else we really want to do. We're not having to spend on just doing the trades themselves or executing the signal.
Awesome. Yeah, it's an embarrassing large amount of firms that are still running Excel and manual paper trading and manual, physically placing trades. It's an industry that I feel like is so advanced in so many ways and so behind the times compared to the sort of modern technology and modern approaches to sharing technology and open source. And we're very happy to be bringing QuantConnect sort of way of thinking about the space and bringing more openness and open source approaches to this, and enabling firms like yours. So just curious, where do you think the investment world's going? Where do you think quant trading's going?
Well, I certainly hope as a fiduciary, the investment world moves more into the pure professional landscape where you're trying to use data and evidence to really figure out what is the best strategy. And in investing, there is not a deductive reasoning answer. It's not always or never or true or false. And that's what makes it exciting and also very difficult. But there is a more likely versus less likely path to choose. And I think that's what any fiduciary is doing. What they have to do legally is what's the most likely way to success. And tools like QuantConnect help people figure that out. It's as simple as showing somebody, let's take whatever idea you have. We can write a code for that and put it on QuantConnect, and we can test it using in-sample and out-of-sample data. You can see for yourself if that's a viable strategy. And oftentimes, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
And when you can test your own strategies, it brings you a lot of humility to recognize that did not work. And it's better than just having somebody tell you, oh, I tried that, it doesn't work. So I hope that what this technology does is allow for more of that seeing is believing, which ultimately leads to better results, better science, better academic papers written, because we can test more and more of these ideas. And the open source nature of it allows for innovators to come from anywhere. And we know in other fields that oftentimes the most significant innovations do not come from long-term industry practitioners themselves. They often come from outsiders who have a novel idea they can test. And I think in finance, a lot of that innovation has been closed off for many, many years, sort of siloed behind hedge fund doors or firms like mine. But now you have a chance where anyone can test an idea. And I think that's where I see the future of this going. You see individuals getting more involved in learning and developing what could be, the next great investment strategy.
Yeah, you touched on so many great points, and I feel like I see that every day. The community is 220,000 people now, and I'm always humbled by how brilliant they are. There's just thousands and thousands of these brilliant minds and ideas and perspectives from all over the world. So it's really really cool to be working with so many people and so many engineers. And thank you so much, James. I really appreciate your time. Again, this is James Di Virgilio of CDD Wealth Management. And I'm Jared Brawl, the founder of Quant Connect. And thank you. It was great to catch up.
Thanks, Jared.